This situation just turned ugly in Golden State. Klay Thompson's actions sent shockwaves through the Warriors organization, and the fallout was immediate. Fans are stunned, the locker room feels different, and then Steph Curry did something that nobody expected. His reaction might say more than any press conference ever could. This isn't just drama, it could be a turning point that changes the Warriors forever. Urgent. This story just flipped the entire Golden State Warriors narrative upside down, and if you're a Warriors fan, you might want to sit down for this one. Because what Klay Thompson just did didn't just hurt the Warriors on the court, it shook the soul of this franchise. And what Stephen Curry did right after. Nobody saw it coming. It started like any other high-pressure night in the NBA. Bright lights, packed arena, cameras everywhere, and all eyes on a matchup that was supposed to be routine. But from the opening minutes, something felt off. You could feel it. The energy wasn't the same. Klay Thompson, once the symbol of loyalty, sacrifice, and championship DNA, looked like a man on a mission and not for Golden State. Every time Klay touched the ball, there was a pause in the crowd. Not cheers. Not boos. Just confusion. This was the same Klay who helped build a dynasty. The same Klay who once dropped 37 points in a single quarter. The same Klay who stood next to Steph Curry and promised they'd finish their careers together. But now, this version of Klay looked cold, calculated, and almost angry. Then it happened. The first three-pointer splashed in. No celebration. No smile. Just a quick turn and run back on defense. The Warriors' bench barely reacted. Steph glanced over. Draymond stared. Steve Kerr crossed his arms. You could already tell this wasn't just basketball. This was personal. Klay started hunting mismatches. Pull-up jumpers. Deep threes. Off-balance shots that only he could make. And every single time the ball went through the net, it felt like a knife twisting deeper into the heart of Dub Nation. He wasn't just scoring. He was making a statement. By halftime, Klay had more points than anyone else on the floor. And the Warriors? They looked lost. Rotations were slow. Communication was broken. It felt like the team was emotionally split in half still living in the past, half realizing the past might already be gone. And then came the moment that changed everything. Late in the third quarter, Klay drilled a three right in front of the Warriors' bench. He turned. Looked directly at Steve Kerr. No words. Just a stare. A long one. The message was clear: you let this happen. The arena went silent. That's when the narrative exploded. Because this wasn't just about one game. This was about years of tension that had been building behind closed doors. Contract talks. Reduced roles. Sacrifices that Klay felt were never fully respected. Quiet frustrations that never made headlines until now. And then, in the middle of all this chaos, Stephen Curry did something that stunned everyone. Steph had been quiet. Too quiet. Not forcing shots. Not yelling. Not leading the usual way. Cameras kept cutting to him on the bench, towel over his head, eyes locked on the floor. People thought he was frustrated. Some thought he was defeated. They were wrong. With 6 minutes left in the game, Curry checked back in. And instantly, the energy changed. Steph didn't look angry. He looked focused. Locked in. Like a man who finally accepted the truth. He hit a three. Then another. Then drove to the rim for a tough finish through contact. The Warriors started clawing back. The crowd woke up. For a moment, it felt like the old days again. But here's the twist. Steph wasn't celebrating either. No shimmy. No smile. No pointing to the crowd. Just business. Because Steph knew this wasn't about winning the game. This was about something bigger. This was about legacy. Late in the fourth, after another deep Curry three, the camera caught something unbelievable. Steph turned toward Klay. They locked eyes. No trash talk. No emotion. Just understanding. Two legends fully aware that this chapter was ending. And then the final blow. Klay hit the dagger. A cold-blooded 3 over a late contest. Game over. Warriors defeated. And just like that, the building fell into stunned silence. No cheers for Klay. No boos either. Just heartbreak. After the buzzer, Klay didn't celebrate. He didn't shake many hands. He walked straight to the tunnel. Head down. Mission complete. But Stephen Curry? He stayed on the court. Steph walked over to the Warriors logo, looked around the arena, then clapped his hands and pointed to the crowd. A thank you? A goodbye? Maybe both. In the locker room, sources say the mood was heavier than ever. No music. No laughter. Players sat in silence. Steve Kerr reportedly addressed the team, but his words didn't change the reality. This wasn't just a loss. This was a fracture. And now the entire NBA is asking the same question. Did Klay Thompson just officially end the Warriors' dynasty? Because let's be real. This wasn't just about one performance. This was about everything the Warriors have been struggling with: identity, loyalty, and the impossible task of moving on from legends without destroying the culture. And Steph Curry knows it. That's why what he did after the game shocked insiders even more. Steph didn't blame Klay. He didn't criticize management publicly. Instead, he took responsibility. He talked about transitions, about respecting the past but facing the future. Words that sounded less like a post-game interview and more like a farewell speech to an era. For years, Steph protected this core. He fought to keep Klay. He believed chemistry could overcome age, injuries, and contracts. But now, the reality is unavoidable. The Warriors are changing. And Klay Thompson might have just forced their hand. Around the league, executives are watching closely. Rival teams smell blood. Fans are divided. Some feel betrayed by Klay. Others believe the front office betrayed him first. And in the middle of all of it stands Stephen Curry, the face of the franchise, carrying the weight of a dynasty that may finally be cracking. This isn't just Warriors news. This is NBA history unfolding in real time. Because when legends turn into opponents, and loyalty turns into motivation, you don't just get a game. You get a moment that defines careers. And that's exactly what we just witnessed. So the question now isn't what Klay did to the Warriors. The real question is, what will the Warriors do next? Because after tonight, nothing will ever be the same again.